Hi, I'm Dan Smith of DPS Legal Counsel, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to answer the question, does my single member LLC really need an operating agreement? So, you've decided to start an LLC and you're going to be the sole member. Or maybe you already have started an LLC and you are the sole member. And the question has come up, do I really need, since I don't have any other members, do I really need an operating agreement? And the answer is yes and no. Technically, the law does not require that you have an operating agreement. In fact, the law doesn't require that even an LLC that has multiple members have an operating agreement, although that would be a very bad idea. But one might be tempted, if you have only a single member LLC and you don't have any other members to deal with, to just say, well, the law doesn't require me to have an operating agreement. There's no one else to deal with as members other than myself. There's no meetings. There are no votes that have to be required. I run the show. I don't need an operating agreement. But I'm going to give you two good reasons why even a single member LLC ought to have an operating agreement. Number one, if your LLC were to get sued, you definitely want to have liability protection. And if your single member LLC does not have an operating agreement, it doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to lose the liability protection you have from your LLC, but it will give one more argument to your creditor or to the person suing you that they should be able to pierce the veil of your LLC because you're operating the LLC sort of like a sole proprietorship. You're not necessarily treating it as a separate entity. That it may or may not be true, but if you don't have an operating agreement, that just gives that person one more argument that you're not treating the LLC as a separate entity. So reason number one why you might want to have an LLC operating agreement, even if you are the sole member, is for that reason, to give you extra protection in the event of a lawsuit so that your creditor or the person suing you can't make the argument that you don't have an operating agreement and so you're not treating your LLC as a separate entity. That's reason number one. Number two, and I think this is the best reason why every LLC, including single member LLCs, should have an operating agreement, and that is what happens in the event of your death. If you are the sole owner of a single member LLC and you don't have an operating agreement and you die, or when you die, the statute in Tennessee is going to basically provide that your personal representative will become your stand-in, will become a member of the LLC in your place. And so, in essence, your LLC will become an asset of your estate and will go through probate because your personal representative is going to step in as a member in your place. And so, by doing that, your beneficiaries would have the rights as beneficiaries under your estate to their share under your will, or if you die without a will, under the laws of intestate succession to some portion of your LLC business. And so what you can do, though, is if you set up an operating agreement for your single member LLC, you can provide under Tennessee law for a particular person or persons to become a member in your place when you die. So if you have, for example, if you have an estate with a wife and one child, you may wish that your child gets the property, gets the business when you die. And so you could name that child to be your stand-in member to take your place when you die. If you do that, then the statute in Tennessee allows for you to name a person to receive your membership interest when you die. It's outside of having to make it a part of your will. It's sort of like a payable on death account that you might have at the bank, a POD, a payable on death account at a bank. That property goes directly, or that account goes directly to the person you name on that POD account. Doesn't go through your estate. It avoids probate. You can do the same thing with your LLC, your single member LLC. It's a great way to make sure that the person or persons you want to get your estate, or at least the part of your estate that is represented by your LLC, goes to that person or persons at your death, and you can avoid probate that way as well. It's a great thing to do. It's simple. You just need to have an operating agreement for your single member LLC. So there you go. 2 good reasons that every LLC, including every single member LLC, should have an operating agreement. Number 1, it'll help with protecting your LLC in the event of a lawsuit. It will strengthen the limited liability protection your LLC gives you. And number 2, you can name a person or persons to succeed or take your interest as a member upon your death. It's a great way to make sure the person or persons you want in your estate get your business interest, and it's also a great way to avoid probate with respect to your LLC. All right, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.